All right, thanks for having us again. Talk about the state of the community for the city of Shelton. I'm happy to be here today. Here is your city council members. I'd like to go real quickly and introduce a little bit. First, I want to go with Deputy Mayor Deidre Peterson, who's been a huge help. Let's move on down to Kathy McDowell, who is in, I think, her second term. Then we have Councilmember Eric Onisco, Councilmember Joe Schmidt, and our two newest ones, Councilmember James Bode, Councilmember Megan Feast, and I'm in the upper left.
So for our COVID-19 response, this has thrown everybody for a loop. I like to say that after 6 months or so, we've settled into a tempo, but I think for all of us, that's not really true. But we did do quite a few things. On March 13th, the City Council adopted an emergency ordinance and we closed all city facilities to the public. We were able to have a majority of our staff work from home, which has been a great help back and forth with the governor's orders on the Open Public Meetings Act and everything else. But essential departments like our police and fire departments and our water and sewer departments have been able to adapt and continue serving the citizens of Shelton through this unprecedented pandemic.
Here's a graph that shows our permits for residential dwellings. 2016, you can see they were pretty low back there. 2017 picked up a little bit. 2018, there was several homes built up, I think mainly up by the high school. 2019 dropped down a little bit, and then COVID hit and dropped down a bunch more.
Yep.
So in the total permits, so it's about the same. But you can see in 2020, even though it's dropped down, there are still several permits being taken out. People are doing a lot of work on their homes, decks and that, roofs, that sort of thing.
So we do have a number of projects, a number of major commercial projects that we're very excited about and very pleased about. We have the new facilities at Shelton High School that I know a lot of people in the community toured when that school was first opened. We have potentially a Wendy's and a Starbucks coming to town, and that's great. That project right now is in the permitting phase, and we could not be more excited about that. We have a new dialysis center. I'm sure many of you have seen the work that just started earlier this week up on Olympic Highway North. Our YMCA is moving along very quickly, and we're very happy about that and can't wait to see that facility open to the public. And we have a new gymnasium at Bordeaux Elementary. On the Parks and Recreation side, we have 40 acres of parks and 119,000 square feet of buildings, in addition to all the grounds, the streetscapes, and the roadsides that we maintain. And the council earlier this year adopted the PROS plan, the Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and Trails plan for the city, that outlines a number of the things that the community has asked us to do and thought that were important for the future of Shelton in this plan, and how we're going to take care of those and the schedule that we're going to complete those on.
The finance department is leading up implementation of OpenGov for the city, headed by Aaron B. Miller and Terry Schnitzer. OpenGov will assist with the entire budget process for all city departments. The goal of increasing transparency and accountability throughout the city operations. Open Town Hall, part of OpenGov, online forum for civic engagement.
I also wanted to mention a few things with regard to city finance. First, OpenGov is very important for transparency. For the city. Citizens or anyone else can look and see the dollars that we have and how we're spending those dollars to meet the strategic goals of the community and our council. A few other things on the finance side. We are in the process of refinancing $2.7 million in sanitary sewer debt. And that is taking advantage of the very low bond rates at the moment in order to make that happen. That's a big deal for both the ratepayers of the city of Shelton, current and future, and for the city. It's important that we take the opportunity to save dollars for the people that live here when we can. A few other things. We are investing some of the CARES Act money from the federal government passed down through us to us through the state in order to make our operations as efficient as possible. We make that possible by investing in technology, and we are looking at asset management systems so that we can maintain the infrastructure that the city needs to run, and also permitting, so we can make your permitting operations here in the city as easy as possible. Everything online is our goal, and you only need to come in if you need to speak with one of us, or we can do it on a platform like this one. I think everybody's gotten used to that over the last 5 or 6 months. And the police department. As you all know, Chief Moody has announced his retirement. That is a loss for the organization, but we are certainly happy for Chief Moody and his family. He has been the police chief here for 6 years. And when I first started in January of 19, he was invaluable to me to help me become a part of the community and introduce me to people. We're going to miss him terribly, but we have started the recruitment for our next police chief, and we want to make sure that the community is involved in that recruitment. We hope to have a new police chief on by middle of January of next year, and then we can wish Chief Moody well and see him on the canal in his boat during retirement. I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
All right, more about the police department. We have 2 police canines that are funded through community partners and donations, which is very important. Both dogs are cross-trained in narcotics and patrol work. Both received 15 weeks of training, and both are finally on duty. And we're glad to have them. It's a very expensive program, but we're very happy to have them. We also got 2 bikes that were donated to us were in a grant form by Sierra Pacific Industries. We're very thankful for those. And we have officers being trained on those right now. And they will, I'm assuming they'll be out and about more in the next summer, I'm assuming. We have new badges for the officers. The old badges said, I think on them, Shelton Policeman, and now they say Shelton Police Officer, which is for obvious reasons. All right, I got more here. And I want to talk a little bit about the accreditation program, which is very important and very, very hard to keep up with the stringent guidelines to stay accredited. Is very important. Records clerks processed 14,059 reports in 2019, and they're at roughly 7,600 reports as of August 1st. So they're on track for about the same amount, I think. In 2020, we've restructured the command staff. We now have 2 lieutenants in charge of 4 patrol teams. Sergeants are on each shift, and greatly improved our level of supervision and accountability and safety for all.
One of the things that the police department works very hard on, and our code enforcement officer in particular works very hard on, is code enforcement for the city. There were 4 tons of garbage and trash pulled from the hillside on the north side of SR3. Many of you, I'm sure, noticed that activity as it was taking place, but that's not the only place around the city where we've had enforcement actions. You can see the numbers there. The majority of the citations issued were for dog-related incidents, but we are moving forward and looking at other areas like the pictures you see on the slide there, where we can do everything we can to get those areas cleaned up and appropriate for our city.
And in our animal control department, there were 80 dogs that were impounded, 27 dogs surrendered, 53 dogs returned to owner, 40 dogs adopted, and 30 dogs to adopt a pet.
For Central Mason Fire and EMS, you can see the numbers there, almost 2,000 medical transports. That puts a tremendous amount of strain on our partners at Central Mason Fire. We in the city are also working on a long-term interlocal agreement with Central Mason Fire so that we can maintain our relationship, not only in the near term, but in the long term as well.
Our new Public Works Director, Mr. Jay Harris, I'm proud to introduce him tonight or today. He began his employment with the city in April. He comes from the city of Newburgh, Oregon, where he was Public Works Director for 8 years. We're excited to welcome Jay to the city and appreciate his leadership of the Public Works Department.
Jay has been a tremendous help, starting right in the middle of COVID. Could not have been easy. I know, in fact, it wasn't easy, but he did make immediate impacts on our operations within the city shop, instituting a rotation of operators, only 2 or 3 employees on the site per day, to make sure that we keep our employees and our coworkers safe, doing as much as we can to do that. Separated breaks and lunch periods, sanitizing vehicles and equipment, and making sure that everybody's wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment. The other thing I wanted to mention as part of this is Jay brought to me and to the council an idea for an advanced metering infrastructure project, and that's just a fancy way to say new water meters. Our water meters at the moment are all brass. They have to be hand read, and we are looking to, again, invest in that technology to bring us up to speed with employee time, so that each and every meter lid, somebody doesn't individually have to go out and lift and read the meter and avoid keying errors. So we are investing in technology that will make our operations much more efficient in the future.
We also had to replace a water main out at the Coffee Creek, where they're doing the construction out at the end of town on the end of railroad. And during that process, they had to be replaced. And once the new culvert was installed, an upsized water main was installed with a new fire hydrant also, and at the intersection of Holbert and Shelton Matlock Roads. This will provide new fire protection and help city crews. Work was performed by Scarcella, who is the ones that did the work on the intersection, and it saved some money because they already had their equipment on site. Moving on to the next one. Oh yeah, okay. What's the wrong one?
Oops.
I'm sorry.
Did I go too far?
Residential paving, yeah, okay. Public Works crews are currently prepping areas up on Mountain View on the east side for paving. City is doing the prep work and the post work. The contract, we're using a contractor for the paving. At the stormwater treatment plant, we installed 2 new UV modules that helps keep the disinfection system running to meet the shellfish standards, which is very important to the city of Shelton. Installed new ultraviolet turbidity meters used to open up a conditional area of Hammersley Inlet to shellfish growers that would otherwise be closed. And we also replaced old plates in the membrane bioreactor 1 that ensures proper separation of solids.
The other part I wanted to mention just real quick, we do have a map of the paving area on our website, it's Mountain View, and a map of the chip seal areas, which runs near the hospital where we left off last year up to Wallace Neeland, and then down Wallace Neeland to the west. We weren't unfortunately able to include it in this presentation. Council approved that for us last Tuesday night. But the map is available on our website, or you can contact anyone at the city and we'd be happy to share that with you.
Public Works has some new equipment which will assist in us in working more efficiently. We bought a small roller that helps with asphalt compaction in tight quarters. We have a new vacuum Vector truck, vacuum excavator jet truck. Helps with cleaning basins. Time to clean and catch basin has decreased by over 50%. So this truck has helped out tremendously. And we also have a snow and ice removal flatbed truck. And that's the end of our presentation. At this point, can we turn it over to Jeff for any questions?
Hello, everyone. Taking a look, we don't have any questions submitted from the audience at this point. So if you have questions, by all means, go ahead and send that through the questions in the control panel. If for some reason you are not able to do so now because you're listening in from your phone, feel free to reach out to the city following this presentation, or the chamber can always pass those along. We did have one question that just came through, and it's, what type of meters did you say?
They are, they're from a company called Census, and they are magnetic meters that basically have no moving parts, which means their life cycle lasts much longer. Our current brass meters are, as with all equipment, as they continue to wear, the tolerances get wider, and they're not as accurate as they could be, but they're called Census, and we'd be happy to share that information with you. Get in touch with us, myself, or Jay Harris, our Public Works Director, and we'd be happy to talk with you about that.
All right, and another question came through asking if there's any news about the Hall Equities development.
There has been on and off discussions with Hall, but as of this moment, there is nothing new that has come in that is concrete that is on the table.
All right, and no other questions have come through. So at this point, thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to move on to the next section of our presentation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.